Hello there! Today in this series of land vehicles, I'll give you a quick overview on the Challenger 2 main battle tank because of current political developments. Is the turning point in the Ukraine war now coming? Well, while the debate here in Germany about supplying Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine is gaining momentum, the British government is apparently considering supplying 10 Challenger 2 main battle tanks. That was reported by the Sky News TV station last week. According to this, the possible delivery of tanks by the British should be used to ward off Russian attacks in the Ukraine war. But to what extent can the Challenger 2 tank from Great Britain influence the course of the war? I'll give you the stats of it later in the video. The government of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is also decreasing the pressure on Berlin with a possible delivery of main battle tanks to Ukraine. Unlike Germany, London now seems to be taking their foot off the brakes and wanting to significantly strengthen Ukraine's defense. As the German magazine Spiegel reports, Britain has announced that they will send Challenger 2 tanks. It would therefore take at least a few more weeks before the main battle tank could be used. As it is also said, the decision should probably only be made official at the upcoming meeting of the Rammstein Group that will happen on January 20th here in Germany in Rhineland-Palatinate. Britain this week confirmed its intention to supply Ukraine with Challenger 2 main battle tanks, reinforcing its crucial role in NATO's help for Ukraine in the war against Russia. As the Financial Times and Daily Telegraph reported on Wednesday, citing a Downing Street official, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has instructed Defense Secretary Ben Wallace to work with partners in the coming weeks and faster and further advance their support for Ukraine, which includes the supply of tanks. And the spokesman said they are stepping up their support to Ukraine with next-generation military technology that will help win this war. It is clear that main battle tanks can fundamentally improve Ukrainians' capabilities. According to multiple sources, the decision, as I said, will be finalized on January 20 at the meeting of the Rammstein Contact Group of Defense Ministers. It consists of the 50 states that are giving Ukraine increasingly modern and deadly weapons. Just days earlier, the USA, France and Germany had announced that they would send more than 100 armored vehicles to Ukraine. The British Challenger 2 is one of the most modern, heaviest main battle tanks in the world, alongside the US M1 Abrams and the German Leopard. During its deployments in military operations in Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo and Iraq, only one was lost in combat. It was destroyed in Iraq in 2003 by friendly fire from another Challenger, though. How many Challenger London will send is kind of unclear. They usually reported that potentially will offer about 10. Due to years of military budget cuts following the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Britain no longer has a large fleet of tanks and only a total of 227 Challenger 1 and 2 remain in service. Oman is the only other country to use Challenger in its armed forces. And the forces website states, currently 148 Challenger 2 are being upgraded to Challenger 3. The remaining 79 vehicles are to be retired. In contrast to this, more than 2,000 Leopard tanks are operated by 18 countries overall. And media across the political spectrum have reacted enthusiastically to the fact that Britain has become the first country to supply main battle tanks to Ukraine. And this puts other NATO countries under pressure to do the same. So the Leopard would be the better choice, but we are getting the Challenger now. Poland said this week it would send Leopard 2 tanks, but this is conditional on Berlin first granting allied nations permission to export the German-made weapons. Polish President Andrzej Duda said on a visit to Lviv on Wednesday, a company of Leopard tanks will be handed over as part of the coalition being built. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's spokesman Steffen Hebestreit said on Wednesday that the British government's announcement would not change the situation. He described the decision by Scholz and Biden to supply Marders and Bradleys as a qualitatively new step. But what will happen next has to be seen in the context of international coordination, so they're still standing on the brakes. While the main battle tank Challenger 2 may be delivered to Ukraine by Rishi Sunak's government, other countries have so far only decided to deliver reconnaissance tanks or armored personnel carriers. Germany also supported Volodymyr Zelensky's fight, for example, with Marder and Puma models, and in addition, Berlin announced the delivery of the Patriot system to Poland in the fall of 2022. The highly mobile Challenger 2 is heavily armored and designed for high-intensive combat against mechanized opponents. Although its main task is the neutralization of armored targets, the Challenger 2 can also be used in many other high-intensity conflict scenarios, in stabilization operations and for peacekeeping missions. The vehicle is armed with a 120mm L30 rifle cannon capable of firing both sub-caliber slugs and HESH, that's high-explosive squash head, ammunition. A coaxial 7.62mm machine gun and a carriage-mounted 7.62mm universal machine gun are available as secondary armament. Day and night vision optics are available for both the gunner and the commander, plus an independent 360 degrees panoramic periscope for the commander. Vision systems, turret and guns are fully stabilized, allowing for rapid target acquisition while stationary and moving. A CV12 Perkins diesel engine with 12 cylinders and 1,200 horsepower and a David Brown TN54 transmission with 6 forward and 2 reverse gears ensure high mobility. Link chains with hydropneumatic suspension and a hydraulic chain tensioner ensure platform stability on both smooth roads and rough terrain. The Challenger 2 has successfully supported British forces operations, as I said, in Bosnia, Kosovo and Iraq. Based on operational experience, improvements in survivability, assertiveness and situational awareness were made as part of an immediate operational need. In May 2021, the British Ministry of Defence commissioned Rheinmetall BAE Systems Land to upgrade 148 Challenger 2 main battle tanks for the British Armed Forces. The order is worth £800 million. Will the Challenger 2 main battle tank turn the tide in the Ukraine war now? It's likely that the British main battle tank could be superior to many Russian counterparts in battle. Vladimir Putin's army primarily uses T-64 tanks. Some of these are still from the Soviet Union, are significantly lighter and can effectively fight targets up to a distance of 5,000 meters. The army of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will receive significant reinforcements from the possible delivery of arms by the British. However, 10 possible Challenger 2 are not enough to field a full tank company. In addition, the active front line in the Ukraine war is several hundred kilometers long. The British Challenger 2 tanks can thus only be used selectively. Nevertheless, the impetus given by Sunak's government could spread the debate about the possible delivery of weapons to Ukraine from other countries and, for example, advance the debate about the German Leopard 2. However, it remains to be seen to what extent this can contribute to an end to the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, it is expected that Russia could force a U-turn in the war in April 2023, so this makes the tank discussion even more important. And if you want to know more about interesting military technologies, sometimes connected to political occurrences in the recent past, then the next video is right here in the end screen. And I'll see you there. I'll be back.